we know what we got coming up, okay? We got to do a good job of taking care of our bodies this week. We got to do a good job of getting in here ready to go tomorrow, turn the page, and move on to Indianapolis, all right? Great team win. You guys did a hell of a job. Great job.
Y'all know how football goes, right? That first month, the ball did not bounce our way one time. Well, guess what? It's starting to turn for us.
It wasn't easy. They're good on defense. You got to keep plugging. A better word is you got to keep pounding.
And think if we just keep getting better, right? If we can just keep getting better at the little things, then it doesn't have to be close, right? And that's what we're chasing.
See you Wednesday.
We love it! And now we are playing with power. NFL Network's Dan Hanzus will join us in 1 minute. Why don't we run through his Week 7 power rankings now up on NFL.com/power rankings. It's October. Let's do this with an unconventional trick-or-treat handout theme.
Yes!
This is the toothbrush division. That happens on my street 2 houses down. The Dolphins are last. Is it electric? Coming off a win? No. Still down at 31. Bengals win this. Jets up to 25. Moving on to the miniature box of raisins division. Popular amongst the octogenarian set. Ravens at 17. Rounding out to the Titans, who just benched their quarterback for Ryan Tannehill.
I have a carton of raw eggs ready for that.
Oh my gosh, yes. Just let them fly, okay? Moving on.
One California
the
raisin.
second best one, the glow sticks division. I love when people hand these out to my kids. Bears at number 9 off a bye. Buffalo Bills also off a bye, rounding out the top 10. Rams tumbling down to 16. And that brings us to the number 1 division, the unconventional trick-or-treat handouts, the beers. I love a house that's got a keg, and they're handing out beers to all the moms, Peter, in my neighborhood, it's like a bar crawl. Everyone's got beers. And they're kind of ironic, but I kind of appreciate it.
I love that.
Patriots number 1. Niners up to 2. Whoa. Saints are the 3rd best team in the league without a Hall of Fame quarterback. And look at the Packers and Seahawks rounding out the top 5.
A keg?
It's all beers. Some people try to hand you the hard stuff, and I don't and I don't say no. Speaking of that, let's bring him in. The man behind the power, the man from London. These guys took over London like the Beatles, and that would make this the Sir Paul McCartney. Dan, good morning. How are you?
Thank you, and thank you for having me. Is the toothbrush in the trick-or-treat basket the original troll job? Is it the first time that ever happened?
If you go outside the house on my block, there's just 6 of them littered on the street. People just throw it over their shoulder.
Can't do that.
Well, let's talk about your power rankings, Dan. Let's talk about specifically the Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings move up 8 spots. They cracked the top 10. Cousins looked really good. Was this a case of them just running into some convenient defenses, or have they really made some kind of jump? What do you think?
Probably a little bit of both, but you have to give it to Kirk Cousins because he was a punching bag a couple of weeks back after that Bears game, and rightfully so. He wasn't playing well, and everyone was pointing to him as the problem. But I don't think Kirk Cousins is the problem. I don't think he's ever been the problem. Maybe he's not the superstar they need him to be, but when he gets right, and what he did in the last 2 weeks by getting the 2 wide receivers involved that were the most visibly and outwardly upset with him, that was a stroke of genius. I got to give it to Kirk, piling up 5 touchdowns to those 2 guys. So yes, we still need to see the Vikings against big competition in a primetime game, a game where, Cousins has struggled so much in the past. But this was a nice start against the Eagles, a good team that's finding itself, trying to figure itself out. But Minnesota just kind of handed it to them. That's why I bumped them way up, because I think their ceiling is pretty high.
Dan, the 49ers, they have not been in the top 10 of this list for many, many years, and you have them all the way up at number 2. Wow, 2? The 49ers, the entire NFL? Talk about it, and how are you so confident that they're really the number 2 best team, despite being undefeated? We know that. Number 2?
Well, Schraigbaum, I know Fox put you on a lot of those high-level NFC games on the sidelines. I don't know if you were at this game that I'm thinking of, but Week 15, 2017, when the Rams and Sean McVay was the talk of the league, went up to Seattle and whooped up on the Seahawks 42-7, and it felt like a changing of the guard type game in the NFC West. What happened in the Coliseum on Sunday gave me similar vibes, and it maybe wasn't as thorough a beatdown from both sides of the ball, but it was, to me, the moment where anyone that had any thoughts that the Niners might not be for real, this was the alarm bell, wake up, because their ability to absolutely decimate an opponent's offensive game plan is just remarkable. I mean, 43 plays after that opening drive touchdown by the Rams, they averaged 2.5 yards and never scored again. That is absolute dominance, and this is all happening while Jimmy Garoppolo is still kind of finding his way, and you sense that they're not lighting up people on offense. I know they took away the Cleveland Browns' will on Monday night. We don't know about the Browns right now, but I just think the offense is figuring it out while the defense is just doing historic type stuff. I think it's the best defense in the league.
Hanzus, or you need to help me figure something out. I made this
Okay.
little graph, this impromptu situation here. I want to ask you about these two teams, the Cowboys and the Panthers, who you saw in person over there in London. These are two teams going different directions. The Cowboys, 3-game losing streak. The Panthers just won their 4th straight. So riddle me this, Hanzus. How do you have the Carolina Panthers ranked under the Cowboys this week? This is,
XY axis.
It's a good thing.
That was good.
It's a good thing I have a college degree so I can understand that chart. But I have to say that we are not here at the Power Rankings slavish in our devotion to win-loss record. Just because one team has 3 losses and the other has 2, it doesn't necessarily mean that I think that the Cowboys are a worse team than the Panthers. I think Dallas is in a tough spot right now. The offensive line's obviously banged up. Amari Cooper goes out against the Jets very early, doesn't come back, and to their credit, they still almost came out of the Meadowlands with a win. And I know you could say, well, they just lost to a winless Jets team, and we'll get to the Jets in a second, because I think that the Jets are a team that were so due for a win, totally different with Sam Darnold there. So that, to me, wasn't a shameful loss by Dallas. They do need to get it back together, and soon, but I just think the Cowboys are a better all-around team than the Panthers. It's very close, though. They're 11-12, I believe. Come on. Giving me a hard time, Kay.
Dan, that's a great segue to those Jets who got their first victory. Sam Darnold pulled it off. Let's take a look at them, ranked number 25, 1 spot above the Giants. Is there any HOPE for them and maybe getting a little upset here of the Patriots on Monday night?
No, well, that's wild. I mean, but you know what? You're right. Hope, Sean. We're in the hope business again around the Jets, which is, something that you would not have expected 2 weeks ago. But that is the difference that Sam Darnold made. His ability to feel pressure in the pocket, open up throwing lanes, move things that the guys that had replaced him during the mono absence, it just was not happening. And just like when we talked about the Niners, that organization needed patience to wait out the Shanahan John Lynch era to get right. Well, people that were writing off the Jets offense and saying Adam Gase had no idea what he was doing, he had no chance. You could have put Bill Walsh on the sidelines from 1988, and they're not scoring 20 points a game. I think now that Darnold's there, you see how players like Robbie Anderson, like a Jamison Crowder, those guys become impact players again. And I think they're pretty dangerous against the Patriots, who haven't played anybody. I think the Jets are giving them a game.
I like it. We hope so. That's the guy. Direct your complaints or your applause to @DanHanzus on Twitter. And Dan, I want to say before you go, you and the Around the NFL Heroes were incredible in London. Huge props to you. You were rock stars. Great work done. And I think Adams has a special message for you.
Go ahead, take it.
Cheers. Oh, yes, right here. This is a visual aid. Follow him. He's got takes. He's got all kinds of insight, and they love him in the UK. Dan Hanzus, excellent job.
Love you guys. Bye.
Sir Dan.
Follow button.
Love
Sir
it.
Dan.
I think they call him Zeus over there.
Is that true? They should.
The Zeuser. Jalen Ramsey headed to LA. Maybe he can hang out with Dan Hanzus.
Maybe he could.
Yes, I love that. How did this go down?
Duval to La La.
Why did this go down?
US, UK should be at the end.
We got a huge game Sunday night. What weekend activity are you canceling to watch this one?
All of them. You name it.
Would you cancel a gin martini for a game?
Never.
Okay.
Not even for the Ice Bowl.
Super Bowl?
Super. They don't play it on Friday.
Okay.
They work well together.